can go. Arkansas Razorback fans, you have been through it. There is no SEC school that has had it worse in the early days of the transfer portal than you. We'll talk about a few positives here in just a moment, including that mammoth Oregon offensive lineman committing. But look, before we get into the Brilin Russell news, I want to shout out our Arkansas presenting partner here on Power Hour SEC, which is Sequoia Dental. Please go check them out if you're in Northwest Arkansas. Those teeth need to be clean, baby. SequoiaDental.com. Schedule your appointment today. Okay? Now, Brilin Russell. He decides to enter the portal, then out the portal, then back into the portal, then back out the portal. I do have a conspiracy theory that's kind of gotten floated around a good little bit on Twitter. And what I want to do before I share this with you, because look, there's been a lot of mudslinging going on towards his parents. And I don't want to get too deep into that. But what I'll do is I'll show you the actual video here from Brilin Russell, and I'll let you come to your own conclusions on my theory on this. But watch it, and this has to be one of the more turn the volume down. One of the more bizarre transfer portal announcements that I have ever seen. Rarely, when a guy enters the portal, they have a super cut highlight of everything that he's done, which obviously isn't a whole lot. And the reason why I have to mute the audio is because of copyright music reasons. But what's interesting is it's all a bunch of positive audio from Sam Pittman, Chuck Barrett, the voice of the Razorbacks, and many others. What I think actually happened here was this video was supposed to be cut for him to announce that he's coming back. All right. Now, there's no way of me knowing this. I don't even know who cut this video, but it's just bizarre to release one of these if you're actually leaving and going somewhere else. This just felt more like, hey, I am returning to Arkansas. I'll be honest. Do I think Brilin Russell wanted to return to Arkansas? Yes, I do. Okay. When you are flip-flopping as much as you are, more often than not, that means you want to stay. If you really wanted to go, you would have just gone and just stayed there. But I do think there's a lot of different people in his ear. If you remember correctly, once again, I'm not an Arkansas recruiting reporter at all, he himself had a weird high school recruitment. It was not smooth by any stretch of the imagination. Obviously, he transferred high schools multiple times. And the truth is he flip-flopped in high school too, right? He was supposed to go to one high school, didn't work out, ended up at Benton. And then he, of course, did this to Sam Pittman and Arkansas while they were very patient with him and some of the injury issues that he had. He's a very good running back. A lot of his plays, none of them are really spectacular. Mississippi State was his big game. They have the worst run defense I think I've ever seen in the SEC, and that's really saying something. And his big run that everyone points to was the Tennessee run. It was a wide open hole that a defensive end did not fill properly. Now, the defensive end was really good, but it was a wide open gash that he had to run through. Now, he did have a critical play in those late stages versus Auburn, but still. Now, despite my conspiracies and all of that, do I think that they were going to the highest dollar amount possible? Yeah, there's that Facebook photo of his dad's Facebook status. Hey, if you're a business, do you want to team up with my son? And then, of course, one thing that rubbed a lot of people wrong that are powerful at Arkansas, and once again, take this for what it's worth. I'm not some powerful person in the Arkansas media sphere, but one source did confirm to me that the agent tweet from Brilin really got some people angry. And it was a tweet during the season that that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. So, this is a guy who got a single-digit number. This is a guy who got a lot of good work behind a really fun run scheme with Bobby Petrino. Is he really that great of a player? I don't know. I like thick running backs. I like running backs that have some oomph to them. But it's not the end of the world either if you're a Razorback fan. It's not. Okay, so look, sayonara. Now, where it gets really interesting, and we're going to get to all of your questions and all of your comments, is the asking price. $1 million has been thrown around quite a bit. Now, after speaking with agents and collectives over the past 48 hours, like I have, I've not spoken to a gazillion, but I will say 4 people who know the inner workings. Brilin Russell is probably anywhere from a $250,000 to $500,000 running back. Probably somewhere around there. But the rumor, and once again, it's just internet rumors, $1 million. In the voice of Mini-Me. Now, if you're young, you might not know who Mini-Me is. $1 million. Oh, boy. But here's the thing. Where I'm going to defend Brilin Russell is he's young. He's a true freshman. There were older Arkansas Razorbacks who punked out Sam Pittman in a major way. Patrick, Judas, Custis, gone. Then you also have Jalen Braxton, gone. Then you have Luke Haas, gone. Luke Haas and Lane Kiffin, they go to visit LSU. He didn't. There was never a doubt in Luke Haas's mind that he was going to Ole Miss. He was never going to LSU. My LSU Tigers got put through the ringer, but we're doing pretty well in the portal. Luke Haas goes to Ole Miss. I can't believe I also tweeted this out. There are plenty of people that would have preferred Luke Haas gone to LSU over Ole Miss. I never would have thunk Arkansas fans would have said that, but that is how you guys feel about Lane Kiffin right now. All right. You can tell Lane Kiffin, based on how the job search went when he actually ended up going to Ole Miss, he loves sticking it to Arkansas. And there's a lot of you online that have been arguing with Chris Pooh Paul's dad. It's been ugly. But y'all, I understand money's involved. I understand Arkansas doesn't have the absolute most money. Excuse me. But it all goes back to the head coach. It all goes back there. I just don't understand bringing Sam Pittman back. I just don't understand. Arkansas's behind in football resources. Arkansas's behind in staff. But the one place you cannot fall behind is the one thing that you 110% control in college football, which is who you want your head coach to be. You as an athletic program can always choose who you want your head coach to be. Now you can't even choose where your players go. They can go wherever they want. Assistants can go wherever they want. But whoever your head coach wants to be, they have high input on wanting to stay because so many SEC coaches get paid a ridiculous amount of money. And you, as Arkansas Razorback fans, could have been one of the few, and y'all aren't a big job, but one of the few Power 4 jobs that would have even been open this cycle. But this is what happens when you run it back here. Okay. Now, I understand. I don't gain a whole lot of subscribers by saying this, but this is a God's honest truth. I'm not an Arkansas fan. I'm going to tell you like it is. That's all I want to do. I want to be as authentic as I possibly can. Why would my opinion on Sam Pittman change when the last couple of weeks have actually happened? Now, have there been some positives? Yes, we'll get to that in a second. But this Brilin Russell Ole Miss graphic is going to really hit you guys hard. Now, let me ask you this before we get to your specific comments. Type Y for yes, type in for no. If Brilin Russell said, look, I want to come back to Arkansas now, are you taking him back? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Are you taking him back? We say hi to Gaming Heavy. You are one of my biggest supporters all across my channels. I appreciate you so much. Amos, I think a lot of people were expecting him to come back. Braxton. You want to talk about Jalen Braxton? Okay. Let's not try and curse on here. I curse on my weekend streams, but not weekdays. We try to keep it PG 13. But the Jalen Braxton quit on his teammates? I don't know. Here's what I will tell you, though. I think one big issue that is in store for college football, it's not even top 10 biggest issues, but there are a lot of big issues surrounding college football, from the calendar to the NIL to the portal to the lack of structure in the sport that we all love. Look, a lot of you might only care about Arkansas football, but you care about the sanctity of college football as a whole. But if a player has not used up his red shirt yet, there is so much incentive for that player to give up. So Braxton, as a freshman, played more than the allotted 4 games, if I'm not mistaken. So, as a true freshman, he did not have a red shirt. He burned it. So it behooved him, as a semi-decent player, not some Derek Stingley Jr. type of prospect, it behooved him to save that extra year of eligibility. So now he gets an extra 3 years of revenue share at minimum. You put all that together, you would like to think a player of his decent quality over the next 3 seasons will make north of $1 million. So I also think if you were in his shoes, you would have towed that line as well. Now, is it the best thing in the world? No. We saw this with South Carolina. They were starting to become a contender, and one of their year 5, yeah, you heard that right, year 5 linebackers had not used up his red shirt yet. He walked into Shane Beamer's office, quit. He said, hey, Shane, I want to have an extra year of eligibility. He had started to play quite a bit, and he was like, can I hang around or whatever? Shane Beamer kicked this ass out. And what did he do? He just signed a big NIL deal to go play at Kansas. These coaches don't give a you know what. They don't give a damn. They don't give a damn about your pass. I will tell you this. If I was a college football coach, I'm staying away from team cancers. Staying away from them. I don't care how good they are. I really don't. Like, I saw James Franklin hosting Bear Alexander on a recruiting visit. You're in the middle of a college football playoff run. Why? I can understand bringing in, an actual good teammate in for a portal visit, but not someone that's played at 9 different schools in the last 8 years of his life. Now, let's get to some of the positives. This is via my friend Trey Biddy, okay? 247 Sports. Trey's a great guy. Brilin Russell will re-enter the transfer portal. Fresno State wide receiver Raylan Sharp signs with Arkansas. Oklahoma cornerback transfer Connie Walker commits to Arkansas. Jaquan Shaq McCroy, who we mentioned a minute ago, Oregon offensive tackle, commits to Arkansas. Selman Bridges was a guy that I had high hopes for as a true freshman. His camp just kept getting better and better and better. I'm glad he decided to run it back. Obviously, Taylor Green announced. Some of these are pretty old. Steven Dix, number 14, announces his return. I want to talk about Brad Spence, Addison Nichols, and a few of these other names. Okay. Jaquinton Jackson should go to the NFL. I agreed with that decision. And then we'll talk about the Metcalfs as well. I know a lot of that bothered you. Now, I want to talk about Wright's Barbecue as well. I know they do a lot of NIL stuff. I had them last week in Little Rock. And I will say, actually, this happened. I remember taking one photo at the Justin Timberlake show this past Tuesday. I did meet one of you at the JT show, and I'll be honest, I was not in a good state of mind. I was in a very happy state of mind, but I didn't remember everything. But one of you that watches the film studies stopped and said hi, and we didn't get to take a photo. And I took a photo with someone else. Let me see. Pull this up. But I wanted to shout out Wright's Barbecue at Wright's Barbecue last week. I freaking love them. I freaking love them. I took a photo with, I think I took a photo with him at the Duke game. What's this, the owner's name? Jordan? Is it Jordan Wright? He is amazing. Absolutely amazing. But let me see. I don't know. Nicholas Lynn. Shout out Nicholas Lynn. That's who I took a photo with. Good dude. But I was gone. I got into a debate with a civil debate at the arena. Me and a few officers and Simmons Bank Arena employees, we got into a debate about Darren McFadden versus Adrian Peterson versus Leonard Fournette. And it was great. So shout out Simmons Bank Arena. It was a great show. I wanted to show some love to Little Rock. Now, the Metcalfs transfers were very interesting to me, especially considering, how much their mother was involved with like social media, the Arkansas Edge, all that stuff. Very strange. Okay. Then you had Addison Nichols. All right. I understand I'm kind of being looked at as the social media Zapruder film guy, but young athletes care so much about social media and their image. I would guarantee you there is not a subset of people that delete social media posts more than young athletes. Like every last thing in their image. That's why they all want the Hayes Fawcett edit. Okay. Nobody wants it. I mean, everybody wants it. The weirdest thing outside of the Brilin Russell conspiracy theory is when Addison Nichols made his announcement, he photoshopped Arkansas off the front of his uniform. I don't think I have ever seen that. I am serious. Never have I seen that. Just took Arkansas right off the front. That means it was personal. I do think when you have this much rancid behavior from an offensive line, all right, offensive line is known as a position that bands together. I thought it was so fascinating, like how different their announcements actually were, right? With Braun leaving. Weird situation. It just reeks of something. Reeks of something. I will say, I do think what Kustis did was downright diabolical. Downright diabolical. And, the Metcalfs, we mentioned that a minute ago. To say that you are going to honor Sam Pittman by not entering the portal, and you actually enter the portal and go to Ole Miss, where all the Arkansas players are going. Sorry, it's just not good. It's just not good. And then also in another interview, you say, "Hey, I hate Ole Miss." What? Really? Have a backbone, bro. Have a backbone. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Now, I understand that with Arkansas, it's weird. But it's weird for every school. I do think, though, while money does play a role, there have been so many just horrible, ugly recruiting losses and transfer portal losses that it's not just money. It's the program. Not necessarily the program, but the way the program is being ran right now. Okay? I feel as if a lot of you feel that the program peaked with the Outback Bowl win over Penn State. Let's go to Michael. Sam Pittman told, I don't think that's, I didn't think that was too bad from Sam. I really don't. Because the kid was committed to Georgia forever, and he took the head job. Now, should he have said, come along? Yeah, but I think that's not probably how he worded it. It was probably, hey, would I want you to come play for me? Sure. But you do what you feel is best for you. Let's go to HM. He said, Braylon made a poor decision. No one else in the country is going to feature a 250-pound running back like Arkansas was. Bad decision long-term, in my opinion. I disagree. I think he's good. I do. Thicker running backs that show something as a true freshman. I mean, I think his floor is just Broderick Green. And Broderick Green, of course, was a good player. I think he can play. But, you never want a diva in your room. And obviously there is some diva-ish behavior. Now, look, he's young and parents are involved in this. So yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not the end of the world for Arkansas losing him. But college football is an overall collective sport, not only collective in the NIL sense, but in terms of positive players, right? There have been a lot of great teams that have gone on to do great things when all-time players leave, right? Tennessee won a natty the year after Peyton Manning left, and we all know Peyton Manning is who he is. And then, LSU fielded the best secondary of all time when Patrick Peterson left. It's not that those guys weren't great. It's that you could survive one or two losses. It's just a lot. I mean, you are losing a lot. What was the blue light special comment? I don't know, JC. You guys got to inform me. You do. Now, it's funny that nobody is talking about the bowl game. I'm interested in the Texas Tech game. You also get Ken Talley, a defensive line transfer from Penn State, or excuse me, Michigan State. He started off at Penn State. Michigan State, ugh. You bring him in. This was his stats last year. 10 tackles, or 10 games, 6 total tackles. Exciting. But tackles isn't the be-all, end-all. I don't really know anything about him, so that just broke not too long ago. Rashad Dubinion, doubtful for the Liberty Bowl with knee surgery. Not really, of course, a big loss. But I don't know who you're going to have at running back. Friday, December 27th at 6 p.m. Arkansas hosting the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Pittman said on air during. Oh, yes. Okay, now this is coming back. The blue light special and Ole Miss has Louis Vuitton. Yeah, now that I think about it, yeah. I remember at the time saying how, what was it? It was Walmart NIL versus the whole thing. God, that backfired. And I think that pissed Lane off too. Oh, dude, now that it's kind of just hitting me. God, that that is just so crazy. Huh? Yeah, it was just not smart. It was just not smart. But then again, it is what it is. Now, before we get to this next topic, 84 review on YouTube, 188 on all social media platforms. Once again, special shout out to each and every one of you. Please hit that like and subscribe. I need your prayers. I know God is busy in the transfer portal, but if you are anybody that believes in a metaphysical being, it's perfectly fine if you do or don't. Please send your prayers towards someone in my family, my father-in-law, who is a lifelong supporter of the Arkansas Razorbacks. He's currently going through a health issue. He's in the hospital up in Little Rock, taking good care of him. Please pray for him. Please, 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 please do. So important. Okay. And he loves Arkansas more than anybody I could even imagine. He wears a hog hat to watch every game. Okay. Leslie says Rhett Lashlee would be a great replacement for Sam Pittman. Okay. Explain this to me, Leslie. Why would he go to Arkansas? Why? If SMU's pockets are as deep as they are, y'all, SMU bought their way into a conference. I cannot state how big of a deal that was. They paid a metric F ton to join the ACC. We're not even talking about the SEC. A lot of money. I don't think a lot of people realize SMU's donor pool. All right. I am an LSU fan. We don't have like the billionaire donors that obviously Texas has, and then of course Oregon with Phil Knight there. But y'all, SMU has got some heavy hitters. All right. The way I understand it is they have north of a lot. Okay. Now I would say probably 100, probably on the low end, $100 million net worth individuals. Okay. They've got money. Why would Rhett Lashlee, he backed into the college football playoff. Why would Rhett Lashlee leave that to join the hardest conference in college football? Why? Dallas is fertile. It just doesn't make sense. I could see it with some other coaches, but Rhett Lashlee is in the freaking playoff, y'all. He ain't going nowhere. Now, if SMU just falls off a cliff, which they won't, yeah. So Leslie, let me ask you this. Let's just say the Tysons were watching my stream and said, well, Carter, I'm going to show you. I'm going to go offer so much money that Rhett Lashlee can't refuse. You don't think SMU's got people that would be willing to match that? And don't you think it would get to the point of no return where that money could actually just go to dudes that can really help you guys out? It doesn't make sense. Yeah, Bobby. I mean, Arkansas, and I'm not saying Arkansas doesn't have money. Y'all got money. We saw that happen in basketball. Yeah, HM. He did leave a good role. He did leave a role where he was going to get minimum 15 carries a game. And we know Bobby can scheme a good run game. All right, this is where I'll disagree. You should never do this to a 19-year-old. Now, as parents, sure. I don't think it would be different if like Brilin Russell had like an interview where he was like just totally trashing Arkansas. That really hasn't happened. At least one that I haven't seen. Okay. But that doesn't mean you should pat him on the back. Now, I do want to share something, okay, that you as a fan are entitled to. I don't think you should ever really get in anybody's face unless it's truly nefarious or if it's an adult. And look, he's technically an adult. Now that the players are getting paid what they are getting paid, it's okay to be critical. It's always been okay to be critical. That's always been my stance on it. But you have to do so fairly. I would like to think of people that do a lot of Arkansas Razorback content. I'm probably one of the more vocal, critical people, but I'll never just get like totally personal on any one player. Something that does drive me crazy is when people feel the need to wish a player well on their next venture. What? You want to wish a player well when they're going to a team that you play next year? You do not have to wish anybody well. Now, you don't wish them harm. You don't wish them anything nefarious, but we can't have a competitive sport, a zero-sum sport, where you say, hey, I wish you well. I hope your career flourishes. F that. F that. Not for me. Not for me. Now, I wish you good mental health. I wish you good physical health. But all that aside, there's a little too much kumbaya. I mean, we have got to, as college football fans, say there is a limit to how much goodwill you're going to have with me. If you transfer to another school, guess what? You could have helped my school. Well, it was just business. Okay, it's just business for me too. Just business for me too. So it's fine if you don't want to wish any recruit well. That's fine. Trust me, when the Golden Boot Week is here, I want y'all to hate my freaking guts. Some of you said that when you met me in Fayetteville earlier this year. Oh, God. Let's go to Jaden. It is ironic that you're sharing this comment with a profile photo of Sam. Why not look into Bobby taking over for Coach Sam Pittman? Yeah, well, I don't know. I am interested to see what Bobby's second year with Talon looks like. One weird thing about it, though, is, I went back and looked at some of my film studies from the Arkansas, Razorbacks this past season. And I hope I'm wrong on this for y'all's sakes, but your offense was so much Andrew Armstrong just doing really good things and Jaquindon Jackson doing really good things. I'd say the only thing, I got a lot of right about this year's Arkansas team. I say going into the season that Andrew Armstrong is so far and away the best receiver on this team. And dude, he was unfreaking believable. I mean, Trey Harris and who else? Like, which SEC receiver was better than him? Luther Burden based on name recognition, sure. Ryan Williams, I can hear that out as well. But no, I mean, he was that dude. Isaiah Bond, sure. But man, Andrew Armstrong was so good this year. Jaquindon Jackson was so good this year, but we predicted we predicted that he would be very good. Borderline very, very, very special, but we also predicted him getting hurt, which happened. So I am interested to see what Kalen's going to look like without those two guys. Might not look good. Now, I say that as well. Yeah, I saw that, JC Loud. I really feel bad for Andrew and what he went through this past weekend. I don't know the full story, but I've always been a big Andrew Armstrong believer. So there you go. Now, let's see. DJ Uiagalelei goes to the NFL draft. Joshua Braun to Kentucky broke earlier today. Y'all, I don't think he was good. I really don't. I think Addison Nichols is good. I think Kustis is he is what he is at this point. But Joshua Braun. Oh, yeah, Jaden, I did. I mean, obviously, he's not in his prime, but yeah, he did some really good things. I thought the A&M game got a little weird. I would have done a few things differently from his vantage point, but that was a bad tail end game. And then, of course, your offensive line going up against the best defensive line you faced all year. Now, you can make a case Tennessee's defensive line is better, but you were getting them at home, which is different. So there you go. Now, here's what I need from you Arkansas fans, okay? I did the film study on Madden Iamaleava. And I know a lot of you want me to do a Grayson Wilson film study to see which quarterback I think is better. They have a unique opportunity with Malachi Singleton out of the picture now. Who's going to be the guy? Who's going to be the top backup? What do you guys want to see this offseason in terms of SEC film studies? I talked with one of my biggest supporters on the Arkansas side of things, Jamie, and we're discussing off-season content. What do you want to see? It was ironic. My Madden Iamaleava film study did really well. Okay, a quarterback who's not going to play at all really next season. What do you guys want to see? Do you want to keep the live streams on Mondays going? I love doing the live streams. I like doing these better than the film studies. I do love doing film studies. I miss doing daily radio in Arkansas. Let me know what this is your chance to tell me what you want to see. Let's go to CD80. I like that, man. Look at this photo. We are. Oh, it looks like you're a power line worker. Shout out to you. Shout out my good buddy Jacob. He does that as well. Do you think college football will ever move to 3-year contracts with buyouts for players? Here's a problem with the 3-year contract thing is you have a a sliding scale with coaches as well. So if I sign a 3-year contract, well, I as a player could put in stipulations. Well, if my position coach leaves, I can get out of the deal, or if my head coach leaves, I could get out of the deal. You know, I really do hate the portal. No, excuse me. I love the portal, but I hate some of the aspects of it. The thing that I hate the most about the portal, I don't think any of this would be so bad if the portal window was after the season ended. And this will be there you go. Oil field in West Texas. My good buddy. I say good buddy. We used to be good buddies. We're still friends. I could text him right now. Frank Foster. A lot of oil field songs back in his prime. He's still in his prime. Shout out to you, Frank. Uh, I've always found this to be interesting when it comes to the college football calendar. I don't hate college football. I don't want anyone to take it any other way. But with my NFL channel growing, and I had a lot of success playing fantasy last year, not so much this year, playing in like big tournaments and all that. I've come to appreciate the NFL calendar. That calendar is a well-oiled machine. Now, do I hate they expanded the playoffs? Yes. Do I hate that they expanded the regular season? Kinda. But every sport known to mankind that has ever existed does not have a portal or off-season window for the next year that ends before the actual season ends. And Jeff Traylor, who a lot of you love, and you should, he was a very good coach, one of the bright spots of the Morris era. Jeff Traylor had a very vocal and viral message out there saying we as adults failed the students. So this will be my little soapbox here. The problem with college football is capitalism, right? Everyone is trying to squeeze every last dollar out of everything. And the big issue with college football is regulation in many ways. A lot of you hate the college football overtime when regulation ends. But on a grander scale, there is no regulation. Like when you really think about it, there is no oversight at all. In fact, regulations have been stripped down. Transfers, you could transfer as many times as you want. Roster sizes, we're going from 85 to 105 scholarships. Signing classes used to only be 25. You can sign as many people as you want. And then you have no conference regulation. No conference regulation at all. Anybody can go anywhere if you get everything signed, sealed, delivered, Stevie Wonder style. You can make as much money as you want. We have no regulation. But here's where it's really terrible. The fact that coaches have to make massive roster decisions before the season even ends is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I can argue that in college football, it's more important than any other sport to be able to have a grace period where you're not having to worry about this stuff. So let's go to Derek. I don't want people to judge what we get in the portal until it's over. Yeah, it's very fluid. That's an interesting comment from Jeremy. Is it mostly the SEC's fault? No. I don't think it's mostly the SEC's fault. Do they have and I'm not just saying that because I'm power hour SEC. I've been very critical of the SEC. But, I do think it's a mixture. I really do. But once again, you didn't have a commissioner. You didn't have any of that. Okay. But yeah, you need depth. Let's go to Sean Tarr. He says she says Talon can't go through his reads. He looked at Armstrong, then maybe a second target, then he'd take off and scramble or get sacked. I'll tell you this, that is why Isaiah Satania transferred. It's part of why. Same thing for Lucas. It's hard being a secondary target. It's just hard playing receiver for a guy who doesn't play that style. Now, there's benefits to his style. Yeah, it's not the worst. But go play for a pocket quarterback or someone that's going to scheme you open. You're going to have a lot better opportunities. How many of you feel betrayed by Fayetteville native Isaiah Satania? Unless he rejoined Arkansas and I'm just missing. Now, before we skedaddle, is Travis Hunter the worthy Heisman Trophy winner? Anytime there is a close Heisman trophy race, we all know what happens. The Darren McFadden discussion is brought back up. Darren McFadden versus Troy Smith. And I think Brady Quinn was the other finalist. Yeah, McFadden got screwed. There's just no other way around it. I won't spend too much time on it. I don't think you guys want to look into the past. Fletcher wants salary caps and contracts. Sure. Why not? Zero production as a punt returner and some critical drops. He gave you something as a punt returner. At the BYU return, of course. Now, here's what we're going to do. Type Y for yes, type in for no. I am interested. Actually, no, this will be better. Let me know where you're watching from right now. And if you're in Northwest Arkansas, I will send you. I don't know if I have any Arkansas memorabilia. I'll send you something. I don't know. I've never done this before. It's not even well thought out. I probably should think this out. You should switch to Sequoia Dental. I'm just saying. I'll send you something, though, if you at least go take an appointment. Shout out to Sequoia Dental. But I am interested where you're watching from. Let me know what you're watching. So, Gabe, there you go. Switch over to Sequoia Dental. What are you doing? You should do it, Gabe. Switch over. I'll send you something. Star City. Let's go. Actually, I've not done this the last few live streams, but the we always do the small town Arkansas festival. I forgot about the one in Hampton. And I've actually spent quite a bit of time in Hampton. And that's South Arkansas for you. What is it? The Hogskin Holidays Festival in Hampton in May. Okay, the Hogskin Holidays. Velvet Ridge. Let's go to Predictor Bibulus. Show me a job that pays 6 figures that doesn't have a contract. They do sign deals, though. There is, like, you're not only signing an LOI, you also, there is paperwork that some of these kids have to sign. But I do love Springdale. I do. Jonesboro. I still have never been to Jonesboro. Where is Izard County? We all know the best county in Arkansas is Union County. Y'all know it. Arkadelphia is in the building. Home of the best rivalry. The Battle of the Ravine. Let's go. Henderson OBU every year. Best game, man. I've got to make my way to a ravine at some point. Never thought I would say that. A ravine. Let them know, Chris. You can't. You run a bait shop? Hit me up, bro. I don't go fishing. I know a lot of people though that need bait. Hit me up on Twitter at Carter the Power. Y'all get some bait from Welch. Delphia, let's go. Arkadelphia. I've always liked Arkadelphia. Never thought I would say that aloud. Ha, 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 ha. And there we go. Hand-tied crappie jig? Or I think you meant to say crappie. Unless there is a fish named crappie. I don't know. Where are my Magnolia folks? This is insane. So this just broke. Auburn brought in another transfer portal quarterback. I don't care how much they're paying you. I really, 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 really don't care how much you're paying you. Let's go to King. He says, why be mad at Brilin Russell? Maybe King is correct. And I'm glad you're holding me accountable. Yeah, I know you didn't intend to do this. But I did this 1 hour live stream, and a lot of it is critical, but I also gave some positive vibes towards Sam Pittman, bringing in Shaq, the offensive tackle from Oregon coming in. But maybe I should be more critical of Hunter Yurachek. I haven't called him out by name. I said Arkansas, bringing him back. I've not called him out by name in over a year. I don't know. Hunter's been here, what, 5 years now? It's a little bit more, give or take. When we think of athletic directors, we tend to think of ADs as faces of the athletics program that wants to be there forever. But it is interesting when you see how much AD movement there has been. Guys leaving for jobs or from their alma mater to other jobs. And you would be shocked at how many athletic directors have jumped ship to other jobs, even some that feel semi-lateral. So I don't know if Hunter Yurachek, there was so much steam surrounding him in the South Carolina job. I don't know if he's burnt out with Arkansas. He left Houston to go to Arkansas, and I think Hunter's done an overall fine job. I think an athletic director is a tough thing to gauge. I also think whoever the athletic director is, it's always a weird way of finding one. Some ADs are like Ray Tanner, right? The athletic director, who was at South Carolina, who coached there for a long time, and so he really loves the university. And then, of course, there's a guy like Philip Fulmer, who, of course, left Tennessee, and then Skip Berman at LSU. So you have a lot of guys that were, coaches there that just kind of moved in. But then you also have athletic directors who are transplants. It is interesting. It is interesting to say the least. I've met Hunter a few times, and never really had a bad experience with him. But there was a lot of chatter about him and the South Carolina job. Now, is it ultimately his call who the next coach will be at whichever school? No, it's not ultimately his call. I will say, though, the Calipari thing was crazy. It really was absolutely crazy, because there's not really a person I've talked to that says it wasn't the Tysons that got Calipari here. I think most of you probably know why. So there you go. Now, that'll do it for me. We'll see you next Monday. Once again, shout out to Sequoia Dental in Northwest Arkansas. Check them out, sequoiadental.com. It is Pow Hour SEC. Boom. And tonight, we're doing cheese puffs. Let's go.